Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/get-started. That's GREENLIGHT.com/get-started.
So you think we're going to sell out of tickets entirely?
I mean, probably, you know.
Okay, but what about people who don't buy tickets on time?
Well, I guess they'll just die sad and full of regret.
Totally true.
I'm
Absolutely.
fine with that.
Oh, thank you very much.
No. Firmer. Like, you expected them to do the thing, but you're still pleased that they did it.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
A little better.
Tom, Eli, what are you guys doing?
Oh, hi, Noah. Well, it turns out Atheist Coin and PonziCon were really good ideas. I did both of them, and now I'm rich.
No, not rich. Upper middle class.
But I have lots of...
Upper middle class.
Okay. I'm upper middle class now, and Tom's teaching me. Right now, I'm learning how to thank a valet guy.
Eli, those were terrible ideas. How did you make any money off of them?
I don't know. They went viral, blah, 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 capitalist system, money. And also, I did that thing I always wanted where I put an ad in the New York Times saying anyone who can get Heath to bite off one of their fingers gets money. So get ready for some calls. You're going to get some calls from dads with sick kids.
945 missed calls. 900. Did you give out my actual number?
Yes.
Also, what's with all the DVDs?
Oh, I bought every existing copy of The Rundown with The Rock and Christopher Walken. If the world wasn't going to appreciate the best action movie ever, the world doesn't get the best action movie ever.
I am so proud of you right
Thank you, Tom.
Eli, these are such stupid and wasteful ideas. You need to plan financially. You're going to run out of money. How much did you even make?
After taxes, $20 million.
You're my best friend.
I don't know if he's my best friend, but I'll hang out with him. Upper middle class.
Still hate you.
I'm actually with Heath. Hello, and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Tom, and I'll be stumbling my way through this one, but I won't be stumbling alone. First up are two men who'd be excited to pass a sobriety test even when they're sober. Eli and Noah.
Luckily for me, I didn't know the alphabet frontwards, so they let me go.
I don't think I've passed a test since my mom pissed on that little stick. So, yeah, pretty stoked.
You're calling that a pass. Okay. Also joining us tonight are two men whose life choices were so bad they led them to be here right now. Heath and Cecil.
Okay, I'm honestly going to my college reunion next month to panhandle. That's all I'm going to do.
There must have been a moment at the beginning where we could have said no, but somehow we missed it.
Story of my life.
Before we get started, we'd like to give a big thanks to our patrons for all of your generosity. If you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, be sure to stick around till the end of the show, and we'll tell you where to go. And with that out of the way, tell us, Cecil, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about Lord Timothy Dexter.
All right, sounds good. Heath, you perused an article on this guy. Are you ready to tell us, who the fuck he was?
I am ready.
All right, so who the fuck was Lord Timothy Dexter?
Lord Timothy Dexter was an 18th century businessman from Massachusetts who became one of the wealthiest people in the country by being a giant idiot over and over again and somehow getting lucky every goddamn time. It's the best.
I just love these hero stories. I love them.
He is a
so
hero.
Much.
It's fantastic. So in addition to being an impossibly successful entrepreneur, he was also a social outcast, thanks to being the absolute worst. He was a philanthropist for things that are stupid and don't deserve charity, and he was an illiterate author who didn't realize people were laughing at him instead of with him. So basically, he was an early American version of Donald Trump, Tommy Wiseau, and Eli, just all combined.
As long as they're laughing. As long as they're laughing.
So Dexter was born on January 22nd, 1747, just outside of Boston, to a poor Irish family of farm workers. After being brought up in poverty without any formal education, at the age of 14, he decided to make a better life for himself.
Because a worse one would be literally impossible.
Pretty much. Yep.
Oh, no, hang on. He could have been born a poor Irish woman, so it could go worse. Could be worse.
Good point. So, yeah, he gathered up all his grit, pluck, and moxie and hustled his way into the glamorous world of leather treating and got a job as an apprentice. And after completing his training, Dexter started his own business making, gloves and creepy fuck pants for colonial swamp ass enthusiasts.
Damn it, Dexter, there's no ass in these chaps. Technically all chaps are assless. Yeah, that's because you just invented them. They're all assless.
Gay pride parades in 1747 were lit. And by lit, I mean they lit you on fire. That's what I
You're
mean.
gonna sparkle.
Tweaky torches, they call it.
Twinkie torches.
So, the leather pants thing was doing great for a little while. But then England started asking American colonists for taxes, and we all revolted like assholes, declaring ourselves lowercase Fremen on the land, or whatever the fuck we did. It was a stupid move. Of course, this eventually led to the Revolutionary War, which started a pretty long, pretty sad slump for the British in terms of winning at anything ever. But more importantly, for the purposes of our Timothy Dexter story, that conflict led to the closing of Boston's shipping ports. And that pretty much shut down his business.
That's what happens when you take British queens out of the leather pants market.
Okay, yeah, but to be fair, there is no point in the leather fuck pants if you're closing down the port.
Fuck pants, quay, fuck pants, Tom. They're good on their own. So, with local commerce all gridlocked, Dexter decided to make his fortune with a new plan, which was marrying a rich lady,
There you
which
go.
is a super smart move.
Bravo.
So
Well done.
He went around to, cougar bars for a while until he finally managed to charm an older woman named Elizabeth Frothingham, who was recently widowed by a wealthy husband.
I miss old-timey names.
Frothingham, yeah, I like that name. And apparently Elizabeth Frothingham also had a bunch of money herself, not just from her husband, but her own, from being a door-to-door salesperson of old-timey Amway. It really says that, and that makes me very happy.
I say, Myrtle, hast thou ever been without a corkscrew, but a haypenny was on hand?
Yeah, I've never had a partner open enough to try the frothing. You know?
Not the kind of thing you want to say with Eli coming to town, bro, but
Sharing a hotel room.
He doesn't know where I live, so that's okay.
I live in my
The hard
hotel
part
room.
with the Frothingham is always what to do with the leftovers.
You put him in
some
tinfoil, make a goose. That's
That's a lot of cold water. You need a lot of cold water.
Yeah, so Dexter and Frothingham got married, and they used a chunk of her money to get a place in the fancy Charleston neighborhood of Boston. And two of their neighbors were Thomas Russell, who was basically the Bill Gates of that era.
He installed windows?
no, he circumcised Africans.
And also John Hancock, the governor at the time. And also a bunch of other rich people, all of whom apparently hated Timothy Dexter because he was fucking gross. And so getting ostracized like this bothered Dexter so much that he spent pretty much the rest of his life trying to get accepted by high society, like for spite, and he never succeeded.
Cool. Hey, when did we decide we were doing episodes on each other's futures? I feel like there should have been a vote or something.
Yeah, I actually, when are we getting to mine? Because that psychic just shook her head and threw up. So I'm not going to say that didn't make me curious. That just...
So the first step in his plan to become part of the aristocracy was to get himself a position in government, just like his neighbors. But Dexter could barely read or write, and he always kind of smelt like leftovers. So nobody was going to let him hold public office in Boston. I guess Boston was a lot classier back then.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was going to say, now he'd be Boston's king.
Instead, he went back to the burbs where he grew up and harassed the local leaders until they created a new office for him called Informer of Deer. That meant his job was to count all the deer in this town's forest. And just for the record, there were 0 deer there for like 20 years before the position was created.
Okay, yeah, fine. There were 0 deer now. You have to be vigilant, right?
I would have released 1 just to fuck with him.
All the deer have him tied up in a chair and they're working him over with their hoofs, you know? We know you talk, Dexter. I didn't say nothing, Buck. You gotta believe me. You gotta believe me.
I like that he's named Buck.
Yeah. That's the joke.
I like that. It's a good joke overall, but Buck is why it's a great joke.
The punchline was the best part. Yeah. So
That's really where it got funny.
all right, so Dexter was pretty happy about becoming an elder statesman, and he decided it was time to start gambling his wife's money. And his first big bet involved speculating on the Continental Dollar. That was actually America's first paper currency issued by the Continental Congress in 1775. Among other things, the new American government used it to pay soldiers during the Revolutionary War. But they didn't really understand monetary policy yet, so they printed way too much, way too quickly, and the notes became pretty much worthless.
Look, I'm not paying more than 6 camel cash for these 3 muskets. It's not happening, okay?
All right, not for nothing, but when Cecil and I were kids, you could literally get muskets with camel cash. I'm pretty sure you could.
Yeah, so
In Georgia, you still can.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so the devalued Continental Dollar meant a whole bunch of soldiers actually got fucked on the whole deal. Anyway, some rich people like Dexter's neighbors tried to help out by purchasing those Continental notes for pounds sterling or gold or for trading for goods. At which point, Timothy Dexter decided to do the same thing without realizing this was actually an act of charity by his rich neighbors and not a stock tip for him. And because, again, he's a stupid person, Dexter decided to take literally all his money and all his wife's money and buy Continental dollars at a discount. At the time, this was like us betting on Nazi Reichsmarks getting reinstated as American currency next month. Getting them on as much as we can. Well, okay, actually, this is a bad example, but you know what I meant. Yeah, it was a stupid bet.
Okay, Heath, this story probably ends here with the sure economic collapse of Dexter, which is why he became a serial killer in Miami, right? That's the next part 2.
3 good seasons.
It's close. But no, not at all. Not close, actually.
Yeah, that was 2 good seasons.
Yeah, it was 2. It was 2.
So pretty soon after sinking all his money into an ICO run by a bunch of nudist Freemason weirdos, Dexter got wildly lucky when the U.S. Constitution was ratified, and Alexander Hamilton convinced the other guys who were running the new country that they should let people buy treasury bonds with the old Continental dollars. And Dexter became crazy rich overnight because of Alexander Hamilton. A few historians actually claim that Dexter had insider information and knew this was coming, but he's so fucking stupid so many other times, we're going to get to it, it's really hard to believe this wasn't also just dumb luck.
Civil War Scott Adams is just like, he's a master negotiator, 4th dimensional test.
Revolutionary War, Rachel Maddow blames Hessian oligarchs.
To be fair, though, honestly, if we found out Hessian oligarchs were behind Trump's election, how surprised would you be?
No, not at all. Not at all. They probably filed their teeth down, too.
All right, so now that Dexter had fuck you money, he thought he'd finally be able to hang out with the other rich people in town. But, you know, he still smelled like vegan fondue, and he still talked like every shirtless guy on Cops. So he'd show up with like huge amounts of hookers and blow, but nobody cared. Still wasn't allowed to party with the fancy people. So he finally cracked and took his family out of Boston and went up north to Newburyport, Massachusetts, where he bought a giant mansion on the water. And this is where his career as arguably the dumbest successful venture capitalist in history really gets going. Or was he a super genius? Well, we're going to try to figure it out, but I'm pretty sure he was just stupid.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take notes and daydream jealously, which is going to take a minute. So let's pause here for a quick mid-episode break for apropos of nothing. And then I said, Sir, if you mean to tell me the exchange will go lower than 11.5, well then, I doubt you.
Oh, you didn't.
No, I tell you, I did. I did indeed.
Jolly good.
Hey, fellas, how you fucking doing?
Oh, hello, Timothy.
Yo, you can call me fucking Timmy if you want, Sir Drumstick.
It's Durmstruck.
Yeah,
Durmstruck.
drum smock, wet sock, what the fuck, am I right? This guy gets it.
Hello, Timothy.
You all remember my wife, Lizzie, right?
Babe, I told the fucking bartender they make me a fucking Long Island fucking iced tea, and they said they don't fucking exist yet.
Baby, you fucking kidding me? I'm gonna go kick that motherfucker's teeth out.
Babe, don't get in a fucking fight. I put my fucking nice nails on.
I'll get you new fucking nails then.
Don't fucking ruin the fucking party, Timmy.
I'm not ruining the fucking party. I'm talking to my fucking friends and you're being a bitch.
What the fuck did you just fucking call me, Timmy?
You're being a fucking
Fuck you, Timmy. Fuck you.
Mr. Dexter. Mr.
Can't-
Dexter.
Call me Timmy, please.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
See, do you see what you fucking did, Timmy? Do you see?
Wait a second. Are you fucking serious right now, bro? I come into your home, I bring my lovely fucking wife, and you insult me like this?
I got my hair crimped and
This
my fucking hair.
is inexcusable. I'm so mad, I'm gonna go beat up a Chinese guy.
Well, that's perfectly fine right now, yes.
Ah, it is?
Oh, yes, totally fine for at least another century, I'm sure.
Ah, fucking awesome.
And we're back. And deeply ashamed. Fuck. When we left off, Timothy Dexter had Forrest Gumped his way into a small fortune and made me feel increasingly discontent with my lot in life. And proved that he at least eventually had enough sense to get the fuck out of Boston. So what happens next?
Okay, so Dexter's filthy rich and living in his new place, hoping to finally fit in somewhere, but everybody still hates him.
Yeah, but strangely enough, he failed to become less of an asshole when he got rich doing nothing. Amazing.
Okay, yeah, but to be fair, if I were that rich, I wouldn't even try to hide being an asshole. Like,
That's the point, right?
Like, no, I would film my actual asshole and I would pay people to watch my asshole all day on a loop, and I would feed them nothing but calamari rings and make them compliment my butthole in a series of haikus.
That's the point. I get you. Never been so close to you, Tom.
Yeah, that's the thing. The fact that he has all this new money just amplified his existing personality, so the local reaction to him is even worse than it was in Boston. Now, instead of ostracizing him, all the other rich people in this new town who live near him start trying to make him go bankrupt, hoping he'll have to sell his mansion and move anywhere the fuck else. And to make this happen, this is the
We
best.
don't like the neighbor. Let's ruin his life.
That's exactly what they do. It's the best. So they're all giving him terrible, terrible business advice, hoping to bankrupt him. But again, he's so goddamn stupid that he keeps taking the advice, but it keeps paying off huge, and everybody doesn't know what the fuck to do.
So this guy is basically that friend from your hometown who had like a little bit of Bitcoin left over from the drugs he bought on the Silk Road, and now he has a van with a naked lady on the side. But Revolutionary War times version of that guy.
Yeah, pretty much. At this point, Dexter owns a fleet of shipping vessels, and he's running an import-export business. And the very first big sabotage idea was from a neighbor who told him he should buy up a whole bunch of bed warming pans, you know, like the metal pan for holding hot coals. It's got the big wooden handle. You warm up cold sheets before bed in
I got three.
in cold
Absolutely.
climates. Yeah. Well, the guy tells Dexter to sell these in the Caribbean islands. So Dexter buys 42,000 warming pans,
God.
fills up 9 shipping vessels, and sails down to Cuba.
Oh, God.
Turns out nobody's sheets were cold there. So Dexter's like, no, I said, you didn't let me finish. They're fucking ladles for molasses. You guys all have molasses. They're ladles for that. And apparently everyone needed a whole bunch of ladles for molasses, and he made a giant profit.
What the what were they doing with their molasses before this?
Just standing there. Where are my ladles? What can I do?
Just one handful at a time.
Guys, hear me out here. It's like a blanket, but it's got holes for your arms. Right? Just hear me out. Hear me out.
Yeah, so he comes back home after selling slankets and ladles, and the whole town is pissed. They have this whole big party set up, assuming he died at sea or, at the very least lost all his money. But no, he's wealthier than ever. And he probably learned like reggae dance fighting, and he's got to show everybody the fucking moves like a giant douche nozzle. So another neighbor starts coming up with a new idea on the spot. He's just looking around. I'm assuming making stuff up at this point, all drunk. He's like, Timmy, got 2 words for you: stray cats. Look around, fucking everywhere. Money in the bank.
Look at him strut.
You herd up all those cats. You sail back to Cuba. You're golden, bro. And Dexter fucking did it. He goes all around town herding up stray cats.
What?
He sails back down to the Caribbean. This really happened. He sails back down the Caribbean with a boat of stray cats, multiple boats maybe of stray cats. And it turns out there's a big mouse problem in all the warehouses because of the molasses getting spilled out of the bad ladles. I don't know. So everyone buys up the stray cats, and again, he makes a killing.
Garfield's got a little pirate eye patch on. Timmy's telling all his friends, he's like, guys, think about it this way. It's a rock and it's got googly eyes. Okay?
Well, I mean, as a guy who sells dick jokes, I've already told you for a living, I don't know that I can throw stones.
Yeah,
right?
That's
I mean,
true.
Glass houses. Caribbean dudes ended up with cats at the end of this is all I'm saying,
Yeah, and I'm just saying I would gay marry this man. I love this man.
Tom Frothingham.
Oh, I do like how he keeps pissing off the aristocracy. That part's fun. So Dexter comes back home again, somehow victorious, and the neighbors are baffled. I'm assuming they're having elaborate planning sessions at this point, trying to work out new schemes to ruin this guy.
One guy's just like, damn it. Okay, look, there's a failed comedian named Mark Maron who's starting a podcast with the word fuck in the title. Let's just have him put all his money there. It's no way.
Yeah, what other stupid ideas did they invent for him, Heath? Like a social network that mines all your data and sells a snapshot of the American electorate to foreign governments while making you think you're finding out which Disney princess you most fuck like?
That's easy. It's Ursula.
It's pretty close to that. So the last big one they came up with was convincing him to sell coal in Newcastle, England, but without telling him about the very large coal mine already in business there in Newcastle, England, that they're famous for. So once again, Dexter happily takes the advice and sends a giant shipment of coal across the ocean to sell in a coal mining city. Can't possibly make money on this. But right before he shows up, the mine workers in Newcastle go on strike.
Oh, shit.
And everyone needed coal in Newcastle for the first goddamn time in history. And again, Dexter made a huge profit.
Now his neighbors are just building a real shark tank to throw him into. They're just like, fuck it. Get some sharks.
This guy is like Bizarro Job. Yeah. What the fuck?
Yep. So absurd dumb luck keeps paying off. But along the way, Dexter actually picks up a few real pieces of business understanding. He realizes that if you have a shitload of money, all you need to do is corner the market on just about anything. And the moment people need it, you can charge whatever you want. And it's the 1700s. So, the only rule is there are no rules. Kind of like the financial sector right now.
Yeah.
So Dexter ends up making a bunch more money when he bought up 340 tons of whalebone. Pretty much all the whalebone that existed at the moment, and charging a big markup on his whalebone monopoly.
Okay, wait. Based on the story so far, all the world's whales are about to die.
Also based on present ecology.
So Dexter's one of the richest people in the country at this point, and he decides to stop working and just really focus on being an eccentric, crazy person.
Wait, I'm sorry. Was he working before? That was working?
Okay, work takes different forms for different people. Noah, don't judge.
Describe your job. What do you do? Nobody has any idea what you
do there.
Too slow. So he hires an entourage of other crazy people and starts insisting that everyone call him Lord Timothy Dexter.
Huh.
This includes his very own poet laureate.
What?
Who he found selling fish and pornography out of a wheelbarrow at a market.
Two great tastes that taste great together.
You got porn in my fish. You got fish in my porn.
It was incest porn. Emily Dickinson. Right?
Oh.
Is that?
It's all
Punchline is
incest
the
porn, man.
last
Come
name.
on. It's all incest porn.
Thank you.
Is it?
Wait, why are you thinking?
Why is
It's
it?
a whole other fight me and Heath had. I don't want to get into it. It's all incest porn. Thank you. All porn stars are related. I have a whole thing. You won't let me do an episode about it. I don't want to get into it.
No, we will not. Good. Okay, moving on. So he's got his very own poet laureate, and he made the guy write like weird dick-sucking praise poems, like a Trump physical from a doctor. And the verses I saw, they're all trying to rhyme, but they kept fucking up at the last second. It's the best. Quick example. Lord Dexter is a man of fame. Most celebrated is his name. Those rhyme. AA. More precious far than gold that's pure. Lord Dexter shine forever. Muir? It's like a Pinky in the Brain episode where like Pinky's the minstrel and he can't get the final line right. It's the best.
I remember the episode where Brain bought porn out of a wheelbarrow. Animaniacs got weird. I want to throw that up there.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm still hung up on this wheelbarrow thing. Like, what's next? Like a rickshaw of butt plugs? Like a hot dog cart full of vibrators?
Oh, I like that one.
So at this point, Dexter was convinced the paid entourage was going to finally get him accepted by his wealthy New England peers, but still no. Obviously wasn't trying hard enough, so he decided to commission about 40 giant wooden statues and put them on display in his front lawn. This included getting into loud arguments with the artists, one of which turned into a gunfight. As the statue of Thomas Jefferson was getting finished, a painter wrote Declaration of Independence on the placard. Dexter started yelling at the painter and telling him to write Constitution instead, which is obviously incorrect. And also just happened.
Yeah, right.
At the time of this. And Dexter probably knew Jefferson personally. So just like so stupid. Regardless, when the painter corrected him, Dexter took out a rifle and tried to shoot the guy. He barely missed, and the painter wrote in Constitution.
Yeah, he marked it fucking zero.
Fucking
Yeah, right. Well, I will say, if I learned anything while living in South Georgia, it's that nothing gets you accepted by your neighbors quicker than excessive gaudy lawn ornamentation.
Yeah.
In other words, I learned nothing while living in Georgia. Not a single thing.
I just want to point out that early revisionist history was aggressive. It's very aggressive.
All right, so now it's 1802, and Lord Timmy is pretty sure it's time to write his memoirs. Despite having writers on staff, and despite being pretty much illiterate, he decides to write the book himself. The title was A Pickle for the Knowing Ones, or Plain Truths in a Homespun Dress, for obvious reasons.
Decide, yeah.
Yeah, the book was about 5% existing words. It was spelled phonetically by a guy who spoke like Scottish Fenster with his mouth full, and it had exactly 0 punctuation marks. And it includes the phrase, I-M-E, the first, with an E, Lord, capitalized, in the United States, with a U and an O, States of a Mercury. I'm the first Lord in the United States of a Mercury.
Okay, episode's taking a weird turn. Now I believe in reincarnation. I look forward to being rich, though, if that's
Upper middle
Like I'm
class.
right.
Are you going to be reincarnated into the past? Is that what's...
Yeah, time's a flat circle, Tom. Get woke.
Yeah, and I love how he distributes the book. He stands next to the road, he shouts people down,
What?
and he makes them take it like a demo CD in Times Square. And somehow this worked so well that he had to print a new run of books 8 times.
Oh my God.
And for these later editions, his editor insisted on putting in punctuation. So Dexter's like, all right, fuck you. And he adds a single page at the end with nothing but punctuation marks, along with the instruction, pepper and salt them as you please.
So, salt, S-O-L-T, too, by the way.
Jordan Peterson's book does the same thing with pronouns.
For what it's worth, Eli, I had never heard of this guy when I got you that lifetime supply of commas and apostrophes for Christmas. That's a coincidence.
I like them. I like them.
All right, Heath, this thing has to be almost over. No one man can possibly contain this much tiger blood and dragon energy in one.
That is true. So, Dexter's almost dead now. And I think he finally becomes slightly self-aware and realizes that he might be wildly obnoxious in every single thing that he's ever done. Of course, that doesn't stop him from continuing that behavior, so he decides to stage a fake funeral in order to see what everyone really thought of him. And this is actually awesome. This is like the best.
All right. Laugh it up. Drinking game audience. Everyone take a shot if you never at least idly thought of the same thing. Everyone is still sober. Move along. Nobody took a drink.
Yeah, so he stages his own funeral, and the only people he let in on the hoax were his wife and his 2 kids, who he paid to go along with it and pretend they were mourning. So he has them invite the entire region, and 3,000 people show up for this enormous, fancy, fake funeral ceremony. And Dexter hides in the floorboards to watch everyone and spy on them. And it's all going fine until he sees that his wife is smiling way too much. So he gets all mad. He sneaks out of his secret hiding spot and he starts beating his wife with a cane for not crying enough.
Jesus.
What the fuck?
Act crying enough. Yeah. At which point everyone hears the commotion and sees Dexter alive, obviously, but he's a sociopath, so he just refuses to acknowledge anything weird just happens and goes on with the party.
I kind of love him so much.
It's the greatest, yeah. And then he died, like, for realsies a few years later.
Oh, my God. If you had to summarize what you learned in one sentence, Heath, and I don't know how you could, what would it be?
Yeah, nothing. Learning means nothing. It's just
Eli's motto.
Yep.
All right, well, then, are you ready for the quiz?
I am ready for the quiz.
Okay, so obviously I felt very attacked by this episode and all the other episodes we've done. But Timothy Dexter and I have one major difference. Is it A, I didn't marry into money? Is it B, I have never been financially successful in literally anything I've ever done? Is it C, nobody would come to my fake funeral? Or is it D, I don't want to play anymore?
All right, well, it's clearly all of the above, except me, I would go to your fake funeral. That would be fun.
We'd have a little hacky sack circle going. Yeah, no, we'd be
Just
there.
to hit on my friends.
Okay. Well, I mean, yes, but that's not...
All right, obviously this dude had too much rampant crazy to fit into a single episode. So which of the following is an additional real fact about Timothy Dexter? A, on the inscription of the statue of himself that he commissioned, he proclaimed himself, quote, the first in the East, the first in the West, and the greatest philosopher in the Western world, end quote.
Modest.
B, when his relationship with his wife deteriorated, he started telling people that she was dead, and the woman they saw walking in and out of his house was actually her ghost. Was it C, immediately after his grown son moved out, he turned his home into a brothel? Or
We're going to leave your room exactly as it was, son.
We kept the same hookers the whole time. So, or was it D, all of the above? Oh my God, this is the greatest human America has ever produced.
Well, I read a whole lot about him. I knew it is D, all of
that
above.
shit.
Oh
He
my
actually
God.
owned curtains from the Queen of France. They were owned by the Queen of France and got cum all over them because he turned his house into a brothel. That was also in the book I read.
He got cum all over them?
Who comes on the
Let
curtain?
them
I'm
eat
sorry.
cake.
I want to hear the page from the Dexter book where they were like, and then he got cum all over the
Okay,
curtain.
it's for real. I believe it was an 1848 book by Stephen Knapp, I think.
It's called we call
Samuel
it the cum
Knapp?
book. It's the cum book.
That's not
It's in the
cum
Lightning
book.
Book series. It's a Time Life
It's a
book.
cum book. It might not be the cum book, but it's a cum book.
All the pages stick together.
Yeah. It's just one solid unit.
Top 10 cum books.
All right, Timothy Dexter, obviously, he's a hero. We're all just jealous. So how would you rate his job performance at life?
Amazing.
A, great.
Yep.
B, good.
Okay, also.
C, okay. D, Donald Trump, that's actually from the emails Donald Trump sends out to rate his job performance to people. Those are the three only options when you get a Donald Trump survey. How would you rate his job performance? Great, good, or okay? Are your three options?
Your three?
Yes.
Wow. I would rate Timothy Dexter an amazing, stable genius.
All right, Heath. Dexter was a prolific author. Which of his works sold the least amount of copies? A, How to Vote, an illustrated guide for women. B, Your First Home, to do projects for the landowning Black American.
Oh, shit.
C, Your Baby Brother, why he's probably going to die.
I've got that one.
Or D, Native American Trail of Happy Fun Time sticker book.
Now that's the cum book. That's the cum book.
I love that you put a little frowny emoticon on C.
I did. I put a frowny emoticon right after the
It's like
brother.
kinda just
He's going to
for us.
die. Sad face.
Aw.
I looked at the book had exclamations too, like your baby brother. Yeah. Oklahoma. But it's definitely D, the Native American
No,
Trail.
it's actually it's a to-do project for black owning land Americans. Black owning land Americans.
Black.
different group of people. Actually, they were in the South.
Since Cecil is clearly superior in every way to Heath, he gets to pick the winner.
That's fair.
All right. Well, I'm going to pick the only person on the panel superior to me. It's Noah. Noah next week.
I was just thinking the same thing, Cecil. That
I know you were.
the only one better than you.
All right. Well, for Cecil, Noah, Eli, and Heath, I'm Tom. Thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, Noah will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you should listen to our other shows. They aren't as good, but they are more numerous. You can catch Eli's blog somewhere. Ask his mom. She bookmarked it. And you can hear Noah, Heath, and Eli pander to three different and identical audiences over at the Scathing Atheist, God Awful Movies, and the Skeptocrat. Cecil and I will shine up the knob over at Glory Hole Studios, and you can listen while we do it at Cognitive Dissonance. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation to patreon.com/citationpod, or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. If you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check our show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com. And remember, it's only losing if you're not rich when it's over.
And a quick thing before we wrap it up. Wikipedia didn't have anywhere near enough information about this guy, so I was using a few other sources that deserve to be mentioned. One of them was an article by Zachary Crockett. Interesting writer, actually. Check him out. He wrote cool other stuff, too. Also an article from the New England Historical Society and a book, like I was talking about before, from 1848. The Cum Book.
The Cum Book.
The Cum Book by Samuel Knapp. I really hope that's the name of the book. Anyway, we'll put...
I bought that to make kombucha, and I was very pleased.
Yeah,
Very
right.
pleased.
No, it was great.
Yeah, I like the extract.
You can't taste
The
the difference.
extraction process is the best.
You cannot taste the difference.
Hello, Heath's phone. Yeah. No, I keep... All right. Yeah, no, I know. I'm sure she's very sick. No, sir, I'm going to stop you right there. I can't bite off your finger. No, no, I care. Damn it. Fucking Eli.